drug deals out in the open going on in the alleyways on East Main Street, between the laundromat and
I heard that from somebody the other day.
and I'm not talking, we're walking up to cars, we're addressing vehicles, we're walking away from the transaction, sophisticated transactions, transactions where an individual will do a money transaction on one hand, the other person will deliver the product. It's going on in the front, on Main Street itself, it's going on in the parking lot in the back. I take care of the property at 178. From my standpoint, I am now regularly picking up hypodermic needles around there. Honestly, one of our biggest problems is Burlington Coat Factory. My property goes through from Main Street through the parking lot. It's the only spot before the post office from East Main Street, going east of the post office where they can walk through. Not only do you see on the ground the tags, because they walk in and out of the store blatantly stealing. They rip the tags off, they walk out of the back, they're then trading the material and either for cash or for drugs from that standpoint.
This is the first time you've come to us, or to me in particular. Have you reported any of this to the Suffolk County PD?
We reported it to PD, I've offered it to officers who are on the P. We have there's 5 to 10 regulars that go in and out. Now I mention these people in these circumstances because it's these people and their regular customers that stand between my office, where my property is, and Capital One on a regular basis. And I can identify them. I can walk by Fulton's Gate on a regular basis and see them standing just next door.
Okay.
I see them standing in front of the laundromat. I see them go through my properties.
Chris, what I'm going to do is I will speak to the inspector tomorrow, and I'll try to set up an appointment for us to speak with him and kind of lay out what you see, where you see it on the properties, and really, maybe we get a hold of either Heller, one of those mentioned. I'll put together a meeting for us to sit down and you can kind of lay it out, what you see, where you see it, or put some pressure on them to do something about it. I'll get a hold of Jimmy Berber, Public Safety Director, and I'll give you a call with this. But
By all means, but the other spot is when we do see those things, you know, from that 9 to 6 hour when we're regularly doing business, I've had my clients have been solicited, and it's there's very rarely are there either uniformed officers of any kind that we can.
But that's coming here tonight, letting us know, because you haven't spoken to me about this before, so I can't say that, I'm sorry I didn't do anything. I'm sorry I didn't do anything because I didn't know it was as bad as it is and it's happening on your property itself. But let me do what I need to do in terms of.
And I'm not pointing fingers from this end, but that,
I realize it, but
from that standpoint, I also don't want, it's not just my property, that part.
we have to begin someplace and you work your way out from there. You know, this panhandling piece came from conversations exactly like this. And that's why we developed this the way we developed it. The next step is, not even the next step. What we need to do now is take care of the problems that you're talking about. And let's do some work on it together.
And I also bring it up because those individuals that I see panhandling on a regular basis, now, I'm an attorney, I've done the 18B work in here, I've represented some of those individuals, so I know their names. The trustee Ferb's part, if I'm an individual and I come, if I try to shake down trustee Ferb, he's got my name, he knows who I am. Those other individuals there, it's not possible.
We can only do it small steps at a time. We're a village, you know, we're not a city, we don't have a police department, we have a public safety. We're lucky enough that the precinct is located in the village and they treat us as if it's a village police department. We have a little bit more, so these are the things we have to do.
No, I'm offering a suggestion because a number of those individuals, we regularly see them participate in the criminal justice system.
Absolutely.
My point being is that if Mr. Egan and the village are going to enable the village safety officers will be able to write those complaints, it may be helpful for the village safety officers to have photos, which the 5th Precinct currently possesses, of those individuals who participated in the criminal justice system.
But I bet you if Al over there, he knows more.
We know more.
Yeah.
We do, we know more.
But Aldo, so my point is to help out those, if we're able to come in, because those people who walk on the street don't know their names. You know, the regulars that are there.
Not a problem. But we, you know, it's like everything else. We can begin to take care of what we know about, to take care of what you don't know about. And it's not that we don't know about what you're talking about, but it's the issue of how do we attack it and how do we do that. Brian, you have something?
Chris, yeah, thanks for coming down tonight and voicing those concerns about East Main Street. On this legislation as defined as aggressive panhandling, have you had complaints from customers having a Main Street business with aggressive panhandling and people
Yes.
soliciting
No,
aggressive?
absolutely. I've had clients come in and ask, man, it's a rough spot to park. Is there anywhere else we can park? Because they do get aggressive. It's more aggressive on Main Street, and we encourage our clients to use the rear parking lot, which tends to be fewer people at least loitering or in the area, because there are no parking meters back there or ATMs or those transactional places that can bring it to rise. But on Main Street, there's a regular gammon and crew that sort of walk back and forth, and we'll get comments from clients that come in and says, hey, what's the deal out here? Everybody says Patchogue's a nice place to come.
Great. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Chris.
Josephine Miller, 276 West Avenue. The village didn't create this problem, and yet the responsibility, okay, we're accepting it, okay, this is only part of the solution. The people who are complaining need also to be directed to the county and maybe even the state. They need to help out here. You could throw people in jail. First of all, they won't be thrown into jail on the first offense. They don't have any money. If they had money, they wouldn't be panhandling, okay? They'll be thrown into jail maybe on the second offense. For those kinds of offenses, they go to Yaphank. I've had clients in Yaphank for those kind of offenses. It's a dormitory. They play cards, they read, they eat, they sleep. Winter is coming. It'll be warm. And finally, you're going to start getting some feedback from the jails about the number of people that we're sending over there. The county and the state have to do something to help us. This is the first step. As soon as we say we're responsible totally for their safety, we're saying it's all on us.
We're responsible for the safety of the people on our streets as best as we can. And I understand, as soon as they decided to close down institutions and things like that, you know better than anybody, put these people out on the street, say, well, they can come back and get their medication where they get. This problem has just grown over time. And I think the economy has created it over time. And I agree with you 100%. We're dealing with a problem that we didn't create, but we're given the responsibility to solve.
But we need to go further, and we need to demand from the county that they help us out. They need to do something. There are agencies that, they're not going to get everybody off the street, but
No.
they can alleviate the problem somewhat. And I know we had an outreach worker at one point. I don't think that's our responsibility either. I don't think that belongs to the village. I think that belongs to the county. And I think they need to step up. And while I think we need this legislation, I also think we need to start demanding that we get some help with this.
I agree with you 100%. I appreciate it. Any other comment? Yes.
Good evening, everybody. James Gilroy, co-owner of Fulton's Gate Irish Pub. I'm Park and Declan right there. We came down tonight. We took half a night off work just to make sure that we had our voices heard on this one as well. Everything that Mr. Ross said, who is a good friend of ours, is completely accurate. We are right in what I would call ground zero of it. If any of you are familiar with fishing, a couple of rules of fishing. Number one, you want to catch fish, you go where the fish are. You get the best luck. Number two, you want the least amount of competition. East Main, that area essentially from just east of the library, the Capital One Plaza, straight across down past Mr. Ross's office, and it kind of scattles out to, that 7-Eleven, other end of town, a little rough. We see the same people. One of my bartenders on her cell phone has a collection of pictures of the same people back and forth, running the trade. This is a great start. Go with it. I have your back 150%. Anything we can do. we're on point with this as well. I'm sure Chris is, I don't want to speak for you, but however, it's part of a larger problem, and it's opioids, and we all know, and it's going to open a giant can of worms, and I know this is not the time or place for that. But two ideas that may help out right out of the gate to keep the comfort level, because right now, every day I walk in front of Capital One Bank. We use Capital One Bank. There's two benches right in front of Capital One Bank that both face the ATM machines. They also allow you to look directly down the west end of Main Street and the east end of Main Street to see if anybody's coming. And in addition, there are right around the bank are two exit routes, and then right past us is the other alleyway. I like a good bench, especially when it's hot. I've been walking all day. 90% of the time, this is not statistical, it is my opinion, but I see it on a daily basis, folks. 90% of the time, it's these individuals. Not just somebody saying, hey, they got $1. That's not it. Somebody sitting down with a hat out. That's not it. These individuals that are looking for the money for the drugs, they sit right there, they spot us, they spot the ATMs. If you remove those benches or move them to another part of town where there wasn't the incentive and the flurry of people with, like you said, cash out, there is also a parking machine directly there, right there. You take those benches away, you take away their vantage point, and it will make a little bit of a difference right off the bat. Just one idea right there. As far as other ideas go, like I said, talk to the people that work there. Alcohol on the street, I see brown bags left and right. I see cans of the malt liquor garbage thrown throughout the parking lot behind my place, behind Ralph's Italian Isis, who backs up to us. They're sitting on the trucks. It's that alleyway. It's a main artery. If we're looking to put any kind of influence on Suffolk County or and village safety, just walk up and down. You'll see it. We see it there every day. The needles, the cans of beer, everything. You have an Irish pub owner looking at you asking for more policing of drinking outside of his bar. I can't make this statement any clearer, folks. It's an epidemic. That's the starting point. But from there on out, that's their home base. And if you can focus on that area a little bit, you will see. Will they scatter? Will they go somewhere else? We run that risk. But I know right at the banks, the Chase Bank directly across from Capital One, ground zero, folks. All right?
Is that alleyway lit?
I believe there is a light. There are lights on the laundromat, but even with the lights on the laundromat, there is a fenced-in area that houses, I don't know if it's their air conditioning unit or water, I'm not sure exactly, maybe it's the water in, and there's a little gate on it. And we see them running back, they duck around the building, they're out of range of the cameras, they go right in there and they trade off, like we were saying. It's a transaction. They spot, they run to the spotter gives the runner a phone call, the runner runs the drugs back up, transaction takes place in the showers. And it's been going on, longer than a year. We were able to keep an eye on it for a while, but the last year to year and a half, it has it's spiraled out of control.
Spurred this one, it really hasn't.
Yeah.
We feel it, we see it, didn't know the degree to it, that it is in that alleyway.
Big stuff, and we have a beautiful assisted living facility coming right across the street, opening real soon. And especially seniors, or I can't say seniors, but 55 and over, with some seniors in there. You want them to feel safe and welcome, and we want that building to be a success. I really want that building to be a success. So I just wanted to make my piece in my head.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Actually, Mr. Mayor, the exact same location for the Family Dollar, about 2 feet
Yes,
Thank you.
Brian, what's the radius distance?
Name, address?
I'm sorry, excuse me. Dennis Ross, 17 Lager Lane, Patchogue. The radius distance of an ATM, what was that?
20 feet.
20 feet? Okay, thank you.
Yes.
I'm Lori Davis, 57 Pine Boulevard, Patchogue. It's off of Main Street, but the train station is getting really, really bad. I take a 5:30 train in the morning, and the last 2 weeks I've been approached in my car for drugs 3 times. It's poorly lit, it seems like a
Can we get, speak to Jimmy about having somebody in the lot, in the train lot? Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's gotten bad. I mean, in the last year, we live on Pine Boulevard, 5 cars were people, they said that they were homeless, people that came and hit 5 cars apart. And then the cop told me, if we go to the train station, they're gonna be sitting right there. So I leave my home and I go to the train station. And then when I get back, they're urinating on cars. So it's become really, it's just a huge hindrance. And we love living there, we wanna keep it clean.
We've had those similar complaints, family members had those similar complaints at the train station. We had a meeting with the MTA police, They do not have the same police resources they used to have, but that's not an excuse. So we had, the mayor had called a meeting with the MTA law enforcement, Suffolk PD, Suffolk Narcotics Squad, and Village Public Safety. And the main purpose was to focus on that train station.
Yeah.
The MTA police officers went back, and we did get a call from the facilities guy, they're gonna do certain cleanups and certain lighting, but the village is incumbent on keeping the pressure on the MTA to make sure that train station gets to the spot that needs to get done.
What's happening down to the 5:15 in the morning, dark?
Well, it recently got more dark, obviously,
Yeah.
but if there's a way of having it a little bit better lit,
Yeah,
that might
that's
be
what
a
we're talking
hindrance.
about.
Or even just having a patrol car come and go. That would just be, I think, enough on some cases.
What time is that train at?
5:39.
5:39, you got that?
Got it.
I'm not looking to do the extra work, but,
Yeah.
and you know, it's sad because I've met 2 people on the train that actually travel to save up, just so they don't have to be here.
Yeah.
That's not cool. Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Other comment? Other comments? Motion to accept as presented. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. What's the latest time for this? Is this available for enforcement immediately, or is it a,
So as we file with the Secretary of State,
okay,
30 days or so.